Hello wonderful people at the internet. Today I'm going to be doing a writing discussion video, which I have not done for some time. If you want to see all my old ones, I've got a playlist on the channel page, although I'm not sure whether they'll be any good, but they're certainly there if you want to get maybe a little shard of good advice. And we're going to be talking about something about the Witcher series that I've been really agging to talk about for quite a while now, and that is how Sapkowski writes villains. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so, before I get into it, full spoilers for The Witcher Time of Contempt, The Witcher Baptism of Fire, and The Witcher Tower of Swallows and beyond. So basically The Witcher books in general, and also for The Witcher sort of Season 3 onwards, if they stick to the books and have all this stuff play out. So we're going to be talking about two of the main villains in the series here, which are Vilgefortz and Leo Bonhart. So for a bit of background information, Vilgefortz is a highly ranking sorcerer. He's well respected in the chapter of wizards, and he won the Battle of Sodden. You know this man's business, but you don't know that he's a bad guy, and that's part of the reveal in step 1. Leo Bonhart is a hired killer who has been hired by a Nilfgaardian spy master kind of dude, and they are both completely different characters, but both introduced in very similar and very equally impactful ways. So the respective introductions of both of these villains have been some of the most impactful scenes in the series for me. In fact, I would be willing to say that these two scenes, which I'm going to talk about today, are my two favourites in the entire series so far, discounting maybe a few scenes with Regis and Dandelion, because I love those characters and they have some great moments. But these two, if someone were to say, are these two your favourites, I would not need to think too much about it before agreeing. So, let's get into them. I have kind of picked out 3 steps into how Sapkowski introduces these villains and how he makes it work so well. The 3 steps are establish threat, reveal extent of threat, and then the aftermath. So, I'm going to be talking through each step and how each of these villains have this step applied to them, and then talk you through that, and then we'll call it a day, okay? So, number 1, establish threat. This step is basically where you have the villain or someone else talk about the villain, or the villain is talking to someone, and it reveals to the reader that this person is going to be an antagonist, is going to be a threat to the main characters. In Vilgefortz's case, this is a conversation with Geralt on Thanedd before the coup occurs and all hell breaks loose, in which they're very vague in their conversation, but Vilgefortz makes very subtle threats and actually directly threatens Ciri's life at one point, and establishes himself as at least an antagonist, maybe not the main villain, but as someone who's going to present a problem for Geralt in the near future. In the case of Leo Bonhart, it's a conversation between him and Stefan Skellen, in which Skellen is giving Bonhart a contract to kill Ciri and the rats, and Bonhart is presented as very serious, and Skellen treats him with a lot of respect, which shows that, Bonhart is confident, and so when he goes off after Ciri, you feel like this is not going to be something that she's just going to shrug off, this is going to be a problem for her. So this establishes the threats and gives the reader expectations that something bad is going to happen to the main characters related to these villains. Step 2, as I said, is establish extent threat, and in both of these villains' cases, the extent is they are massive threats to the characters, and they have massive capability to permanently harm them. Now, in the case of Vilgefortz, Geralt is running after Ciri after she's gone into the Tower of Goals on Thanedd, and Vilgefortz approaches, and Geralt and him have a conversation and then resolve it by saying, we're going to have to fight over this because Geralt's not going to let Vilgefortz get to Ciri, which is what Vilgefortz wants. And to put it bluntly, the fight is over in a matter of seconds. Geralt, who we have seen previously in the books, massacre so many people. Soldiers, trained, guerrilla fighters, all these people. Monsters as well. I don't know why I didn't mention monsters. I mean, he's a monster hunter, so it makes sense to say that he's also killed monsters to prove how competent he is, but apparently that's not a thing in the books. He's shrugged them off without even struggling, and then he goes into this fight with Vilgefortz, doesn't land a single blow, and has multiple bones broken and passes out from the pain. And that happens in about the course of 2 pages. And oh my god, I lost my mind when that happened. It was excellent. It was so good. And this is really effective as the revealing extent of threat, because it's so different to anything that we've seen in the series before. Geralt has been no means untouchable, but he's never been laid low in this way before. And so seeing this happen to him just cements Vilgefortz as an extreme threat that is going to be a massive problem. You know that this guy is now going to be kind of the main antagonist for the series. In the case of Leo, this event occurs when he actually reaches Ciri and goes to claim the bounty, and he's fighting with the Rats, which are a group of young bandits who, throughout the course of kind of the previous books, have not been shown killing people very often, although they were shown attacking innocent people, which isn't much of a feat. But they also took down a troop of Nilfgaardian cavalrymen, which is a bit more of a feat. And everyone fears them, everyone talks about them, they have this reputation, so you get the idea the Rats are not to be messed with. They are probably, you know, these are competent people who your average person would not be able to take on. Even your above average person, like soldiers, they can't take these down. And then Leo Bonhart, this singular man, this just one-hired killer, kills every single one of them without even taking a scratch, without even breaking a sweat. He just massacres them like it's nothing. And something that really increased the impact of the scene to me, because I saw it coming because Ciri couldn't travel with the Rats forever, was that before this event occurs, he's standing on a balcony with a sword tucked under his arm, eating like a potato. So he's just eating breakfast, kills them all, and then captures Ciri and goes on with his life. And it's yet again so effective. It just lets you know straight away, take this guy seriously. He is a master swordsman. Ciri stands no chance against him, and she's going to have to overcome him at some point, and it's going to be a rough journey. It's such a great... This is my favourite step. I love seeing this bit play out. As I said, the third step is the aftermath. In both of these cases, these reveal extent of threat events have massive impacts on the respective characters. In the case of Geralt, after fighting Vilgefortz and losing, he is left with multiple broken bones and taken to Brokilon Forest, where he has to heal for, you know, like 2 months. And when he leaves for the rest of the books, he has got a knee which is constantly hurting him, which gives out in the middle of fights. It's a massive problem to him. And so the villain has had an impact, and it's this impact that really makes the entire first 2 steps pay off. Because it's all well and good having a cool scene where the villain destroys the main character, but if there's no impact, if it doesn't affect the story, then it's kind of like it doesn't need to occur beyond the fact of going, oh, this villain's really scary. You really ground the villain as someone who's going to affect the story, who is important to the story, if their actions against the hero or the main character last. In the case of Ciri, so far, I've not finished the Tower of Swallows yet, but so far in the rest of the Tower of Swallows, she's been dragged around by Bonhart on a leash. Now, so his established extent of threat moment has not just harmed Ciri emotionally massively, it has also established the entirety of her plotline for this book, it seems. And so there you are again. It would be all well and good if Leo Bonhart just killed the Rats, but then if Ciri got away, it'd be like, oh, well then, you know, it's not impacted the plot. This event is not solidified, this villain is not solidified as a massive influence on the story. I hope you found this interesting and or helpful if you're considering writing stuff at any point, but it's an element of the series that it stood out to me, and I love it, and I just wanted to talk about it because I looked at my Time of Contempt review and I didn't talk about this bit with Vilgefortz enough, so I just wanted to get it out there and explain why I think it's so cool. So, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!